Last month, I brought you an early look at the HTC 10 and the HTC 10 launch party that took place in New York City. Now that I've used the device for over a month, I'm back with my full review. Could the HTC 10 be the best smartphone released so far in 2016? Let's find out right now. If you've been paying attention to HTC's line of smartphones over the past 3 years, you'll notice that the HTC 10 seems familiar, yet also introduces a fresh start for the line. Previous devices were good, but never really seen as universally great. This year, the company has come out swinging. I've been using the HTC 10 for about a month, and while I brought you my top 5 features video a few weeks ago, which I'll leave a link to that in the description below, I wanted to wait before publishing my full review since I knew that there was a good chance that HTC might roll out some software updates prior to launch that could change opinions on some of the features. But before we talk about that, let's start out by talking about the hardware and build quality. The build quality on the HTC 10 is some of the best I've ever seen on a smartphone device in many years of reviewing gadgets. Obviously, the metal construction looks and feels great, although if you have smaller hands, you might feel that it's a bit chunky. As you can see on the right, you've got the micro SIM tray, the volume rocker, along with a very obvious power button, which is a fantastic move by HTC. I'm not sure why they're the only one doing this, but this also appeared on the HTC One A9 a few months ago, and I liked it there too. I'll leave a link to that review in the description below in case you want to check it out. On the bottom, we've got the base speaker, microphone, and USB-C port for charging and syncing, and yes, this device does support Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0. The left side is bare, save for the micro SD card slot at the top, which supports cards up to 2 terabytes in size. The one I have is just 200 gigabytes, and it does support Android Marshmallow's adaptive storage feature. Up top, you've got the auxiliary port, which packs some serious punch, but more on that in just a moment. Rounding out the hardware tour up front, we've got the speaker, LED notification light, selfie camera, and home button with built-in fingerprint reader, which sits between the capacitive buttons, back button on the left, and multitasking on the right. Finally, on back is the main ultra-pixel camera. The 5.2-inch Quad HD Super LCD 5 display that's 2560 by 1440 with 564 pixels per inch and curved edge Gorilla Glass sports 30% more colors tuned to cinema standards, and I prefer that when compared to the overblown look of AMOLED. The absolute best part of this display though is its touch performance. This is the best touch experience I have ever had on any Android phone, period. The touch responsiveness is on par with what iOS was like prior to the release of iOS 7. It's just buttery smooth, tracks perfectly with no lag, something that other Android smartphone makers still have trouble with perfecting. Alright, rounding out the hardware on the inside, you've got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 quad-core 64-bit chip running at 2.2 GHz. You've also got the Adreno 530 graphics chip, 4 GB of RAM, 32 and 64 GB storage options, and a 3000 mAh battery that got me roughly 4 hours and 45 minutes of screen on time and lasts about a day and a half. All in all, this is a beautiful phone with a great layout. The chamfers on back add a roundness that make it even more comfortable to hold while giving it a bold look as well. If I had any complaint here, it would be that it's not waterproof or really even what I consider to be water resistant. Accidents happen, and we're seeing other devices that can be submerged in water, but the HTC 10 offers no such assurances. Many HTC fans were worried when the HTC 10 was announced with a different speaker configuration, moving away from the BoomSound dual front-facing speaker setup that HTC has been known for. However, in my personal opinion, there isn't much cause for alarm. In fact, on the whole, the HTC 10 is the best phone out there as it pertains to pure sound quality across the board. First, you've got the new BoomSound hi-fi speaker layout, which pumps out 24-bit high-resolution audio. You still get 2 speakers here, but now it's a separate tweeter and woofer design, so one speaker is dedicated to the mids and highs, while the other takes care of the lows, both with their own dedicated amplifier. Then you've got the auxiliary port, which is powered by a 24-bit sound processing, a built-in DAC, and a high-performance headphone amp. When you plug in, you get BoomSound for your headset. You can turn it off and on at will to really hear the difference, and it's a noticeable difference right out of the box. They've even included something called the Personal Audio Profile System, which measures your own individual hearing in each ear and then adjusts specific sound frequencies so that you get the best listening experience, and it's awesome. The HTC 10 carrier models ship with a set of high-quality earbuds, but those aren't included in the unlocked model that I have here. I did get a pair of the HTC Pro Studio high-res earphones separately, and you can go into the audio profile and specify which HTC headphones you're using to even further tune your listening experience. Of course, you can use any pair of headphones you'd like. I've also used the Audeze EL8, which are $800 planar magnetic headphones, and a few weeks ago I tried the JBL Reflect Aware C earbuds, which actually plug into the USB-C port. As a self-professed audiophile, I can tell you that I've never seen this level of customization and sound quality on a smartphone, and I truly applaud HTC for what they've been able to accomplish here. Since we're on the topic of sound, I should mention that when you're recording video, the HTC 10 records the audio in 24-bit high resolution as well. So not only does it pump out great sound, but it captures 256 times more information across twice the frequency range using 3 separate microphones with built-in noise cancellation. Now let's talk about the camera. The Nexus 6P was praised for being the first Nexus smartphone with a great rear camera, and you get that same camera sensor here on the HTC 10, but with an even better f1.8 aperture with optical image stabilization. The camera was the main reason why I waited to publish this review until right before launch, because something wasn't quite right from a software perspective. Basically, the phone was slow at launching the camera and slow at actually taking the picture. I'm happy to report that I downloaded a pre-launch update 2 days ago, and the camera is now vastly improved as I expected. It's a 12 megapixel shooter with 1.55 micron sized pixels, which more than doubles the amount of light it takes in from last year's model. It has a dual tone LED flash and the colors are on point. As it pertains to video, it records in up to 4K with that high-res audio that I mentioned a minute ago. You also get slow motion recording at 720p 120 frames per second. Adding to the unique camera setup, on front you've got a 5 megapixel wide angle camera with 1.34 micron sized pixels, and this one also sports optical image stabilization. That's a first for any smartphone. It has an auto selfie mode that will take the picture when you're smiling, and there's even voice command as well. Here's what it looks like when shooting video with the front camera. And here is the selfie camera in low light. The sun has actually gone down. This is crazy that it's that bright, but I'm walking so you can see the optical image stabilization doing its thing. And again, it's dark out here. Moving on to software, let me just say HTC Sense is the best third-party skin in a flagship smartphone. HTC has really stripped down their skin, making this device nice and lean. It's not stock Android, of course, but it's very close and isn't annoying at all. Unlike Samsung's TouchWiz interface, HTC has done away with all the duplicate apps that do the same thing that built-in apps already handle, so it doesn't feel like you're bogged down with bloatware from the moment you power on the device. HTC Freestyle lets you customize the look and feel of your layout even more by doing away with the on-screen grid and letting you place icons and widgets anywhere, even using themes to really deck out the design. You can even use stickers instead of app icons. It's not something I need, but I can see a lot of people, especially younger ones, loving this feature. As far as flagship devices go so far here in 2016, the HTC 10 stands at the top of the pack as my favorite phone of the year. Sure, you can argue that it isn't waterproof, but I'd counter that I'm way more likely to listen to music than I am to drop my phone in the sink. The build quality is solid, and it doesn't feel like something that's going to shatter if you drop it. The battery life is fantastic, and the dual optical image stabilization cameras are a feature you simply won't find anywhere else. Oh, and if you do crack your screen or get water damage within the first 12 months of owning an unlocked HTC 10, they'll replace the phone completely free. That's standing behind your product. You can pick up the HTC 10 starting at $699 here in the US, and it'll be available in silver and carbon gray. Thanks a lot for watching. As always, guys, be sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this one, and if you loved it, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button to find out more about our future reviews, tutorials, giveaways, and more. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Hit me with your feelings on the HTC 10 in the comments below, and I'll interact with you there. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Your support means the world to me. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I'll catch you in the next video.